Hello, my name is Jason Coles. This presentation is for Safety 737, Ergonomics and Construction. And for my semester project, I did a literature review on ergonomic issues in the pipe fitter trades. So pipe fitter trades, what are they? Pipe fitter trades are commonly seen as pipe fitters, steam fitters, and plumbers. So those are the three pipe fitter trades that I researched for this literature review. So a little bit of background. So construction industry is well known as having quite a few injuries. They're known for this. As you can see by the graph, sprains and strains lead this. At least in 2005, there is some more current research out there. I wasn't able to get a graph for that, but the trend continues. Sprains and strains are very, very common in the construction industry. They are certainly common in the pipe trade industries, which we'll be talking about, which is why I showed this graphic. So a little bit about background. So there was a study done by the Iowa University, the Injury Prevention Research, Biomechanics and Ergonomics. Now I realize that this was a little bit older in 1993, but I believe it's still relevant. That surveyed those in the pipe fitter trades, and 88.4 reported at least one work-related musculoskeletal disorder in the previous year. So holy crap, that's almost all of them, you know. So more than 2/3. So 25% reported missing work in the previous year due to a work-related musculoskeletal disorder, and 51% reported being seen by their physician for a work-related musculoskeletal disorder. So staggering numbers that came out of this 1993 study. It was over 700 participants. So this shows you that there definitely is a hazard in the tasks that these tradespeople are completing every single day. So the methods for my literature review. So I reviewed originally 23 peer-reviewed articles. 16 of those were actually used in the implication of this study and in the paper. And 6 of the articles were specifically related to the pipe trades, with 7 articles being specifically related to work-related musculoskeletal disorders, most of those in the construction industry. I would have loved to have had more articles related specifically to the pipe trades. Unfortunately, some of them I was not able to get access to, and the other struggle that I had was just finding them as they related specifically to work-related injuries. So unfortunately, but I think we had a lot of good data anyway. So keywords that I used in this were steam fitters, plumbers, pipe fitters, injuries, work-related musculoskeletal disorders, ergonomics, construction. And then I also dug into mitigation strategies for work-related musculoskeletal disorders, and we'll review that in just a minute. So different results here. First, I'll start out with saying is I chose bending, overhead work, and static posture as the most likely injuries. These are not at all the only injuries that are pipe fitters, steam fitters, and plumbers are exposed to. These are the ones that I chose to focus on. One that I maybe should have spent a little bit more time on, specifically for steam fitters, is vibration in the hand when using their tools. But bending, frequent bending in these trades, bending down to pick up pipes. If they're laying pipes in a ditch, they're bending down, working on them. So frequent bending, often while carrying heavy loads. And there was one study that did say that 79% of back injuries were specifically related to lifting and loading activities. So another high number, as we saw earlier. Overhead work, often required in the pipe trades as they're installing pipes in the roofs of buildings. This is very common. So risk factors for those include tendonitis, arthritis, rotator cuff tension, and neck syndrome. Rotator cuff is the one that stands out to me. Those are major injuries that often result in a lot of lost time and a long recovery period, up to 6 months commonly, to be 100%. So definitely a lot of risk here. And then static and awkward posture, very, very common in the pipe trades. I think about standing on a ladder with your arms overhead for multiple hours in a day, or in a ditch or whatever it is. So, and those can lead to a wide variety, static posture or awkward posture, of work-related musculoskeletal disorders. Also, if you get more into the plumbing, especially residential plumbing, often laying on your back, tight spaces, confined spaces, working very finite work. So definitely a lot of risk there for these tradespeople. Here's just a graphic that I found that I thought was really, really good. It shows the trunk flexation, trunk lateral bend, shoulder flexation, flexion, shoulder abduction, and elbow flexion. Very good graph, and it just shows on the left the ergonomic risk based on the number of degrees that are being bent by these employees. In the pipe trades, they are often bending 90 degrees, 30 to 45 degrees, over 120 degrees, depending on the application of the task that they're doing. And as you can see, I know it's a pretty crude table, but there is a high risk for developing injuries when these employees are working in these situations or these postures. So the discussion. So I did some research and I wanted to know if there was any age correlation between the age and the injuries. So between 1985 and 2010, the average age of the construction worker jumped from 36 years to 41 and a half years. So, but as you can see by the graph, and what I originally thought was, yes, there was going to be a correlation. You can see in the graph here, and the research that I found is there is not much correlation between a higher injury rate and the age of the workers. If anything, it is going down. Now, the injuries, according to the research, are generally more severe with the older workers. But I believe that is because they are just a little bit more worn out than their younger counterparts. Recovery takes a little bit longer for them. So the other thing that I found interesting and that I thought for this research was training. Does the application, or do people who are trained better have a less risk of developing these injuries? So there was one study that focused specifically on this for plumbers, which is pretty cool to read. It went from 2000 to 2018. It looked over work comp records, medical records, things of that nature. And it did find that 46% higher for those that had not gone through apprenticeship training were the work comp claims. Conversely, claims wage for replacement or disability were 60% higher for those that were not trained in an apprenticeship program to those that were. So pretty high numbers there. So I concluded at the end of this, if they get trained by people who are actually doing it in a structured program, it's probably better for them. Mitigation, there are a few mitigation strategies. The REBA method, rapid entire body assessment, that I would use to observe. This can be done very quick while watching the worker perform the task. It shoots you out a score at the end of it based on your calculations, and then lets you know how soon you need to implement mitigation strategies for that task. Another mitigation tool that's out there is RULA, the Rapid Upper Limb Assessment. This is very, very similar to the REBA assessment, though it specifically focuses on the upper extremities. Again, it spits out a numerical score that tells you how high or what level your risk is at for the tasks that they're doing based on measurements that were taken as you're observing. So another good tool. Stretching is another mitigation strategy. It's stretching and its effectiveness in the workplace or before going to work. There's a lot of back and forth or different opinions on this. I did find one study that did suggest that stretching really did benefit the employees before they went to work, and the employees that stretched before they went to work and then were later injured recovered a little bit faster. So I thought that was an interesting tidbit. Always want to shoot for workplace design. If you can design a workstation to be better for the employees that eliminate above the head work, awkward posture, always want to do that. And then mechanical devices is another one. If a forklift or a pallet jack or whatever can be used to try to replace the heavy lifting, bending, whatever, always need to try going that route. there were some limitations. One that I specifically found was lack of research for the pipe trades. There was some stuff out there, unfortunately, I couldn't get access even through the institution website to those articles without paying. But there just wasn't a ton out there. A ton about work-related musculoskeletal disorders, a ton about construction injuries, just not specifically for the pipe trades. And then the conclusion is pipe trade workers face the work, the probability of developing musculoskeletal injuries every day for what they're doing. And mitigation strategies may help to reduce these injuries. And here are my references. Thank you.